Hey, welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Ben.
Hey, you got it right this time. I'm not Ben. I am Tim in Taijo.
Hey, and I'm in Kaohsiung, and we are the Critters in Taiwan. Hopefully not the
Yeah,
only Critters in Taiwan.
probably two of the
Yeah,
biggest critters in Taiwan. Not by size.
we,
Come on, I'm losing weight.
I'm gaining weight. It's winter, man. It's winter. That's what happens in winter,
It's
right?
time for it.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
prepared.
I've been doing the soup runs lately. Lots of Neo Romian and lots of yummy soups.
Soup run
Um,
sounds delicious.
oh yeah, I love me some soup. Hey, if you're just joining us, we're doing spoilers, all spoilers. So if you're not caught up, leave now. You can go. We're talking everything Critical Role, all things Critical Role related. EXU, Campaign 1, Campaign 2, all one shots. The new Campaign 3. The crossover stuff, whatever they've done. We had a what was the D and Diesel reference popped up the
That
other
30
day
minute
with that. Oh,
edited one
woo,
shot. Yeah.
yeah. There was a reference came up with that one a couple of days ago with a friend of mine. We were
Yeah.
laughing about it. The Red Nose Day with Stephen
Stephen
Colbert.
Colbert.
That was
Yeah.
a fun one too. But anyway, we will be talking about all things Critical Role related. So if you're not caught up to date, now's your chance to leave.
Yeah. In particular, I mean, like, get on campaign 3. It's happening right now. They just did episode 7. The first couple of campaigns, if we mention something here, chances are you're going to forget that by the time you actually go back and watch it. So, but campaign 3, get caught up and come on back.
Mhm.
This shit's going to
Yep.
be immortalized
Mm.
on YouTube. So, yeah, go
Yes.
back, watch campaign 3, and then, yeah.
This campaign 3, if you haven't started watching it, I highly recommend it because it is excellent. These guys are they have literally pulled out all the stops. Matt has built his dream studio. The actors, the voice actors have really gone above and beyond with their character development, plot stories, their voice acting, the backstories, the everything about it. It's spectacularly good.
It's a journey, and it's a fucking lovely lovely to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's a mystery is what it really is.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure things out.
And you got a lot of things about this one. I've got a few things about this one, especially
I got a
towards
bunch,
the
man. I got
end
a
of
bunch.
it, but I do like to kind of keep it chronological.
Well, like like I said, all spoilers. The you know me, I love combat in Critical Role. It's one of my favorite parts of Dungeons and Dragons in general, but the combat that they pull out, the Critical Role pulls out, it's at the edge. I'm at the edge of my seat the whole time, checking things out, figuring things out. What are they doing? What does that mean? What does this do? And especially with this cast, like the new characters and the homebrew characters, still trying to figure out what
That's the
the
thing.
fuck Sam's character actually can do.
Yeah.
Getting a better grasp on Talison's barbarian,
Mhm.
but even Marisha's sorcerer warlock is. Oh, and yeah, and Laura's sorcerer still. There's even though that's not a new one, that's unfamiliar to me. So I'm still not quite sure what's going on with her.
And that's what keeps us on the edge of our seat, because
Absolutely.
I'm one of the things that before rolling, one of the things that keeps me on the edge of my seat is I don't know a ton about the stuff. I've open up the books and read the stuff. I've never really done that before. So if there's like a homebrew something that they're still kind of maybe ironing out, Matthew does, that's just kind of one of the things he does.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm like, ooh, is something going to be OP? Is this maybe something that really
Well,
needs to be modified later?
Totally.
Which is
Totally.
something that he's on top of. If
Yep.
he notices it in a game, he'll be like, okay, by the way, last time that was the rule. This time
Right.
we've changed
Right.
it.
Well, the point in case they did that to Beauregard in campaign 2, where they
Yeah.
had
With
the
the
way
extract
of
aspects was one of
the
them.
extract acid. They nerfed it was OP and no, it was too complicated, so they simplified it. They nerfed it up.
It wasn't like an
bit.
OP
And
thing. It was just
it was it didn't make sense. It was too convoluted, so they simplified a bunch of the aspects of it, and then changed the simplified some of the aspects of extract aspects.
Yeah.
And they made it a little bit easier to deal with. And I think that I'm not sure. I haven't read a lot of the new source books because they are third party stuff. It doesn't actually become applicable in the campaigns that I play in. So,
and even in the first campaign
I
with
don't know.
Percy being a fighter, but he was a
The gunslinger.
gunslinger, yeah,
Yeah,
which
ported over from
classified as
Pathfinder.
fighter because of the action
Yes.
surges and stuff like
Yep.
that, which
Yep.
apparently is a really hard word for the whole cast to say. Action surge.
Yeah. Mm. Well, it was ported from Pathfinder, right? And in Pathfinder, they are
That's where
gunslinger
they
is a
started.
fighter. Yeah, it's a gunslinger is a an archetype of fighter. So in
Wait.
Pathfinder, it's
Not homebrew?
no,
Oh, no
no.
shit.
Yeah.
I
It's
thought it was
one of the
homebrew
guys.
because there were guns involved.
No. It's a thing. It's an optional rule in Pathfinder.
Oh shit.
Again, one of those. Hey, check with your DM to see if gunslinger is right for you.
Oh.
To the like my buddy, he played a gunslinger for years and years, and it was straight up Pathfinder rule set. It's a weird one. Little bit can be a little bit broken, but they make up for it in other ways.
It's either black or white is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
hit or
like
miss.
with the action surges, it's like, oh, you're shooting like 8 times, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
or you jam your gun and you take damage and you're fucked for the rest of the round.
Well, in Pathfinder, there's a bunch of different ACs. Like there's a bunch of different armor classes, and the gunslinger always attacks what's called touch AC. So like,
Fucking hell, I've never heard of this.
You reach out and you touch somebody. So it's very, very easy for a gunslinger in Pathfinder to hit somebody, especially if you're really big. So the idea being that if you're big and immobile, your touch AC is very, very low. So it's easy to hit. And if you're quick and nimble and agile and small, your touch AC is very, very high. Yeah.
Dodge and weave.
Yep. And then like wearing armor, like wearing plate mail affects your touch AC. It cranks it up a little bit or makes it, I don't remember. It's been so long since I played Pathfinder now. Anyway.
Well, you can touch the armor. It just doesn't do
doesn't get through. It doesn't do any
anything.
damage to get through the armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something like that. Pathfinder is complicated, and it's a wonderful game system if you love numbers.
Right. That's me, man. I love numbers.
Also, if you love creativity, the big plus to using Pathfinder is that you can create anything. If you can think it up, there is an archetype for it. You want Captain America? No problem. You can create Captain America. You want you want Hawkeye? No problem. If you want Spider-Man, if you want like any Marvel, except for the technology aspect stuff, things like Iron Man and stuff. If you can imagine a character build, you can create it in Pathfinder. There is an archetype for it.
So like with like a Spider-Man type of build, instead of having a mechanical thing that shoots out webbing, you could find some magical way of it working.
Yep. And then you could be like, you could have like, there's literal, like you could have gauntlets of spider climbing and slippers of spider climb and like all of these different things you could build, and you could actually
so you can like
Spider-Man.
put a bunch of shit together to mimic or emulate what's going on. Oh, okay. Huh. Shit.
The build would be high dex. You could have like spider sense. You could make those. There's so many different ways to make any character popular, you want. Right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They were purposefully built that way. So they were like, if you can dream it up, you can build it. No problem.
Huh. Yeah, I think I heard that from a couple of friends here, because I know a hell of a lot more about 5th edition without studying it, just because I'm well aware of this whole, 3 campaigns so far.
Yep.
Pretty well versed in those rules,
Anyway, enough about that. Let's roll.
Let's roll. Let's get started on this.
Okay.
All right, because we got some stuff to say, man.
Okay.
I'm using my, hey, look at this. Surprise, surprise. It's my same die. Because that's the only die I have.
I'm back to the green 20.
Yeah. Or you can just choose another person in your game to use their dice and fuck it up with a natural 1 again.
Yeah, I know. That's not going to happen again.
Sorry, I told him. Said that.
No, I told him about it this week. I was laughing. I'm like, hey, you never guess what I did. And I told him the whole story. I'm like, I saw your dice. I saw your dice on the shelf. So I reached out, walked over, and I picked them up. And the very first roll out of the box was a 1. And he just laughed at me. He's like, yep, that's what happens.
Yeah. All right, here we go. First rolling.
All right,
let's do it.
Here we go.
Come on. I got a 7.
I got a 7.
Man,
Come on.
look at
All right.
this.
Double rollies.
Double rollies. Oh man.
Oh,
Got a 6.
I got a nat 1.
A nat 1?
Yep. I thought it was a 7 again, but it's a smaller 7. All right, man. Well, I already know what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
I know you're bringing out the big guns right away. So give her.
It's got to be brought up.
I'll just sit back and I'll just listen.
Okay. Chime in anytime. I'm going to start at this point with, I don't need to look at my notes. My 3 favorite places to be in the world. Number 1, my parents' cabin out in the boonies of fucking Alaska. We've got this cabin. It's not a village. It's just a cabin, and that's it. That's my number 1. Number 2 is on a stage, playing in front of people. Number 3 is in a studio, creating music and shit for people. All right? And hopefully viewers will understand where this is going right now. And I'm sure I know that you know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened with this new episode was the new intro. And the moment I saw it, I was just sat back, slack-jawed, impressed to the fucking core. Impressed to the fucking core. How much time and effort and professionalism that went into this fucking thing just blew me away. I had to watch that thing over and over again, which is so annoying with the goddamn Twitch interface, man. Because you push that thing back a number, like like a minute 40 or whatever, and then you have to wait a second, then it does it, and you have to touch it again to get. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and start from the top here. I'm just going to gush for a little bit, if you don't mind.
Oh,
and
give
chime
her,
in
give her. I'm good.
I'm going to get through these things.
Just one thing. Looking at the Instagrams and the socials, the Twitters, and all those things, they said it took 3 days to do the intro.
That's it.
Yep, 3. They did it in 3 days.
3 days.
Fairly
shooting.
certain. Yep.
All the recording.
Yep,
all the
fairly
mixing.
certain. I read that it was 3 days or 5 days. I'm pretty sure it was 3 days.
I guess if that's what your job is, to be like, hey, we have this thing and it's coming out.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. It's like, yeah, I'll 3 16-hour days. I'll get that shit out if I had that job.
I don't think that's that doesn't include the music and all that. That just includes the shooting stuff that the shooting, the video shooting that they did. I'm sure like the music took a lot longer than that. Well, maybe not. I mean, who knows?
Comparable time, if not more. I would assume.
Yeah, it's only a 45 second to a minute long intro, so it's not.
No, it's not 2 minutes. It's a little bit less than 2 minutes. Yeah, it's like
I didn't realize
40.
it was that long.
Not including the Critical Role logo at the end.
Oh, right. Okay.
It'd be like, it's like a minute 20 or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, something like that. I've listened to it at this point probably 300 times.
Okay, guys, start gushing. I want to hear what you got to say about this thing.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start from the top of the list here.
Give her.
So I know that like the way that Sam said it at the, he said it's the vocals were done by everybody at this table. And I'm sitting there thinking like, well, hold on a second. Like Marisha is not a singer. Like she's never really sung anything. Travis never been a real good singer. He did the voice.
He did the backing vocals for the second the animated intro for campaign 2.
Yeah, but they were more just like roll,
roll,
like that, using that voice that he's got, that God-given voice, and I think I pinpointed him a couple of times in this new one, doing just in the beginning. I heard him doing a critical. I heard his voice. So he's not a big singer, and nor is Liam, but Liam does have a solo. Just a couple of, like 1 or 2 lines, we'll call it.
Okay.
But where he's solo. And he might do some backups, but you can kind of tell, or maybe you can kind of tell that he's not a big old singer, but everybody else is at that table. In particular, Ashley, Matthew, and fucking Robbie. Holy shit, Robbie.
Robbie's not in it.
Is Robbie not in the recording? Are you sure of this?
100%.
It was on this?
Confirmed on Twitter.
Yeah. Damn it. Okay, because I thought that I was hearing him in the things, because
he's not in the video.
He can sing.
Well, we all know he can sing. That's his fucking jam, man.
Yeah.
But no, confirmed Confirmed on Twitter, not in the video, not in the audio.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, he's in the video. He's got that one moment when Liam says, "And the renegade." He has, oh, there he is, and he disappears.
I thought he wasn't in the video.
Yeah, no, he's got that one quite quick credit,
Okay.
which is very
Okay.
easily edited out because they go black to
Right.
him and then back to
Right.
black. He's going to be
Interesting.
very
'Cause
easily edited out.
Well, he's not in the. He's not. I know he's not in the ending when they're all standing at the end, the wide
Right.
shot there. Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
there. So, okay.
He's still just
Okay.
he's a character, from outside. Yeah.
Mm,
But he
okay.
gets that moment when Liam says, "In the renegade," it's just Robbie for a
Right.
second and then it goes away.
Right.
But then similarly, which comes up later, Travis, he just shows up and fucking that's it. We can talk about
Right.
that in
He
a
does.
minute, though.
He does that. He does that awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's only half lit too. And I don't maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I've seen this thing so many goddamn times.
Clearly.
Okay, so I think the reason that like Marisha's not a big singer, I think that's why they just went ahead and gave her the beginning. It's like
Right.
It's Thursday, just like you can do that without being able to sing. I think they gave that to her, and I think that's great, and that's also why her name came up first. And they did a great job throughout the whole thing, where when the names were coming up, the people who had their little parts, they were also singing in those parts too. Like in particular, Taliesin, for example.
Yes.
He never does any lead parts, but he does when his name comes up. He's doing the backups behind Matthew Mercer, and they're fucking terrific. You can really pick out his S's and his SH sounds. He says chants in his backup part, and you can hear the way that Taliesin does his deep CH sound just because of his voice that I've known for years. You know it's him, and he's doing the high register, and I'm like, God damn, man, you should have had a bigger part. Probably Taliesin just saying, no. All right. So I got a while to gush.
I'm all here for it.
I know, and I'm trying to. I'm not going to take too much time on it, but like I said, one of my
this is all your time. Take as much as you want. I love it.
And in the last one that we're aware of with it's Your Time to Roll, whatever it's called for campaign 2.
Yeah. Your turn to roll.
Your Turn to Roll, is that what it is?
I think it's your turn to roll. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Ashley and
Laura
taking the forefront.
Yep.
And I was waiting to hear Laura's voice, because
It's
hard to do it when you have the gang vocals like that. It's really hard.
Her
to hear.
and the reason that I think the reason they were chosen for the campaign too, it's Your Turn to Roll, because their singing voices are very similar.
Oh yeah.
And they've done a lot of work together, obviously, with outside of Critical Role, they've done the Last of Us too. So it's like they've their voice when they sing is very similar. They harmonize beautifully. It's they're so it's I was going to say this earlier, but I'll say it now. I know you don't do this, but if you turn the subtitles on through the intro, you get everybody's voice and you see what their parts are.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even think about that.
I wasn't going to say it, but I figured I might as well drop that on you now. So I do know exactly whose parts are whose.
Okay.
Because in the subtitles, although there is a little bit of something that I think happened with that, because Friday night when I first watched it, I'm fairly certain they fucked up the subtitles, because I'd read somewhere on Reddit that Reddit and then confirmed on Twitter that the people were asking if Liam's lines were done by Matt, and Liam was like, no, those are my lines. And then I read somewhere, but then I read somewhere on Reddit that they maybe had accredited them to Matt in the Twitch stream on the subtitles by mistake. There was some don't quote me on that, but there was some confusion. I don't really remember what it was, but but I'm fairly certain when I did my rewatch that they were all, I was like, oh yeah, that's Matt and that's Liam and that's Travis and that's,
Yeah, it's absolutely Liam doing that one part. It's a solo part, and it's quite different because, again, I don't know this, but as far as I understand, Liam is not like a singer. He's a fucking unbelievable voice artist, but not a singer.
Yes. No,
he can sing and he's fine, but he's not singing in the same way that Matthew does, or the way that Ash does, with that full-on support, that fierceness, that ferocity that they can pull off. Like he's just sitting
Yes.
there like, "And a renegade," like
Hmm.
just up here in the throat. And then Matthew right after that, he's like
Hmm.
something about having the same goal or something like that. It goes to show how
Hmm.
much I pay attention to lyrics.
There's
A
there's
few hundred
another
times through.
line. There's another line too that Liam gets where I think it's the he might that line that who knows where they'll go or something, and then there's like a he might
Mm,
thing, which is in reference to Matt, and I think that's Liam that says that part.
huh.
Fuck, I read through all of this on Twitter, but I knew you were going to be going on and on and on about it, so I wasn't really paying that much attention.
Yeah, because I loved it so much. I loved it
Mm-hmm.
so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when you heard, because in the last one, it was mostly Ashley and Laura doing the main stuff, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
else is in the background, or
Mm-hmm.
like a few people are in the background, like Travis, Sam,
And Travis and Sam, I think, were the main ones. Yeah.
and you could really hear Laura when she was one thing's for sure, we never give up on the fight. When you say one thing's for
Yes.
sure, you can hear her sure, and then she, which is something they teach
Mm.
you in vocal training and for singing, is you start with a full set of lungs. You never start down here. You always start
Mm-hmm.
up here, and then and you can hear when it's the end of your line. A lot of people will expel the rest of the air, and I think you can hear
Right.
Laura doing that.
Nice.
And for those two parts, I feel like she's like, what's the line? One thing's for sure, and then she goes, sure. And it's Laura's exhale
Mm.
that you can hear, I think, But I might have to check the fucking subtitles. I'm not
Yep.
sure. But it was fun to try to pick out, like, which singer is where.
Nice.
With
Nice.
group vocals, it's really hard to do.
I'm
Um,
excited. I'm excited after you watched it so many times to find out if you got it all, if you nailed it all. That'll be fun. Though I think it'll be even more fun if you got some of them wrong. You're like, I was sure that was Charlison, but it turns out it was actually Travis or something.
that'd be great.
That'll be that'll be fun. That would be an amazing thing.
Because,
Yeah,
like,
but I
like
bet I'm guessing you probably got it all right. That's my guess. You
being
probably nailed
pretty
it.
familiar with their voices,
Mm-hmm.
but like
Mm-hmm.
also hearing somebody sing, it's
Mm-hmm.
totally different from hearing them speak, you
Yeah,
know?
again, like I think there was some confusion about Matt, and I don't really remember what it was now specifically, but I do know there was some confusion about Matt and Liam's lines or the parts they sung. There was some confusion. I don't remember exactly what it was now, but
Yeah.
it's not really that important.
I will definitely sit with when Travis's character turns into Liam's character when he's running through the thing and then he goes
Mm,
through the thing and it's
mm,
Liam O'Brien. Liam has the two lines and then they're Matt's lines,
mhm,
but Matt
mhm.
Matt is prominent in the whole thing, you know.
Yes.
And when they start into, god damn it, the first time that I got the chills was Ashley, because she starts it and we're just like, oh, it's Ashley again,
Mm,
okay.
mhm.
But then she has you can hear that
It's
she's a very very trained singer because she
yeah.
she stays at the top,
Yep.
and then
Hmm.
even though she's got this much breath left down here, she still, when she delivers her second line, she goes back to the top, and you can hear that inhale. That's what a fucking singer does. And when I heard that, I was like, fucking Ashley. And then at the end of her thing, she has that little trill right at the end. Take a breath and roll, is what it, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Take a
yeah, yeah,
breath and
yeah.
roll.
Yes. Yes.
That's really hard to do with full
Mm.
breath. It's really easy to do with your throat, but really hard to do at full support. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, God damn it, Ashley. And immediately after that, the group vocals came in and I just sat
It's
back. I was just like,
Thursday night.
oh.
Hmm.
I just had to sit back and just enjoy it for a second. Close the eyes. You're going to listen to this many times. And I was just beside myself. The first few times I heard that
Oh,
part, I didn't even know they had the slow motion part right after that. Because I was
mm,
just watching it with my eyes closed, just back, back, back.
that if I can chime in a little bit, that slow motion part is fucking spectacular for several reasons. Number one, this is one of my favorite parts of it is it encompasses the absolute lunacy that happens at that table over the past 6 years. The not that specific table, but that group of fucking
Right.
nerds.
At their
They
table, yeah.
at their table, the ridiculousness from Ashley flinging the scrunchie to Travis being petrified and super scared to Sam taking a picture of himself and blinding
Like
himself with the
backwards.
disposable
Yeah.
camera. That like all of that, and Talison's like ferocity that he's got, and that Liam's like way over the top. The what's the word? His method acting. Like
Yeah.
he goes so far above and beyond what's necessary. But I love that slow motion part because it really encompasses all of that lunacy. It's sort of just a quick little panorama, a quick wipe across the table of just their nonsense that they've been doing for 5 years now. But the other part of it that's even more fun, that makes me giggle even more when I watched it a couple of times, is that Sam trolled the fuck out of it on Instagram.
Uh-oh.
He took selfies of himself and some of the other ones when they were when they were practicing their bits. He's got video of him with his phone doing this. just on Instagram. It's amazing, dude. It's so funny. And you can see Travis and Marisha, I think, right beside him. And they're going through their parts.
Going through the
and
takes.
Sam's just going through their takes. Yeah, doing their practice bits. And Sam's just like, these fucking clowns. These fucking just that absolute fucking troll. It's so good. And that for me is just that's perfect. That's the part that I like the most. made me laugh.
So when I finally opened my eyes to see that they actually did that slow motion track with the smoke, the different colored smoke in the background. Marisha had a water sling. Ashley had a popcorn splash at Sam. And Sam he was just pouring, so that's not that hard. And then Liam had he had the canteen. He had little water over flask
that
started touching his shoulder, and then Laura had the dice toss. And the thing is, it's not a long take. It's a very quick take.
No, it's very fast.
But you can't blink. You know, you can't react to anything. You have to be in the moment and in the character, for that entire 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds, or whatever it takes to go from here to here. I'm gonna say like 4 seconds, but it's a good
it's very fast
20 or so in the video because it's slow motion and it's fucking epic the entire goddamn time, and you can change that shit in editing and all that. I did notice Marisha either blinked or she looked down right before she got off camera, and I'm like, Marisha, come on. Don't make them redo this just because of that one blink. Come on. But I saw it there, and it's here now. But
do you know what it really reminded me of is the band OK Go. There's the One Moment, the song, The One Moment, right?
They did like 3 videos like this.
Oh, sure, of course. But the one that they did, the biggest one they did, like that slow motion stuff like that, is The One Moment, where it's sponsored by Norton Salt, I believe, where they do they fill up all the jars with salt, and then they shoot things at them and they explode, and there's all the balloons and there's the guitars exploding, and it supposedly happens in one moment.
Well, they give you at the end of the video, they give you the real time of it. It's just a few seconds.
It's just a few seconds. That's right. There is some trickery involved with that, though. If you go back and you look at the making of, they're like, well, it was actually like a bunch of different parts that they stitched together, as they do with many of their stuff. But really well done. This reminded me of that very much. I'm like, wow, that's because it's a really fun effect. It's a very cool thing to see.
Absolutely. I mean, like with OK Go, they went a little bit more intense because maybe it wasn't that one. I don't know the names of my own songs, for fuck's sake. They had like blasts of paint and shit where it's like, you have to clean it off. You have to change your clothes. You have to redo the whole set if you're going to take another take. And that take is 4 seconds.
Totally.
And and that's a part of the video. So you got to be really ready. You got so many 60 people got to be fucking ready. Or,
totally.
And in this case, it was like, oh, it's reminiscent, not as hard. It's just water. You can easily see it's just water, or It's not even vodka. You can tell by the viscosity, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits Liam's shoulder, and dice. Those are probably her shitty dice that Laura was
Yeah,
tossing. So she probably
sure.
doesn't even care if they're on the floor. But
Nope.
they do have to reset the smoke in the background,
Mm-hmm.
and that has to be reset. But it wasn't attaching to anything, so it's just
That's right.
wait for it to
If
settle
it's
and then do it again.
if it's even real smoke, it might be
It could
projected
be green screen.
on those project. It could
Yeah,
be, yeah,
for the last
totally possible.
picture, it looks like green screen.
They did a bunch of Marisha posted on her Instagram a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, and there were several people completely covered in shit. So it's completely I mean, by shit I mean that in the nicest way, like covered in green splatters and
Sure.
different like all kinds of goo and
Get
gunk
dirty.
and just
Yeah.
and they were mopping up floors and stuff, and you could see it's like, yeah, this was, and it was a very much, it was her, oh, it might have been Twitter actually. Anyway, whatever it was. There was a shout out to all of her. She's like, this is the cast. These are the ones that made it happen. This is the,
Right.
the crew, not the cast. This is the crew, the behind the scenes crew that made all of this happen, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yeah. And it doesn't, and again, the shots are quick. It's like fucking
Yeah, right.
5 seconds, It's like,
totally.
and you gotta look back at it and be like, oof, like this was a little bit off. This is a little bit something. And then you'd be like, we got to do it again. And you have to decide at that moment, we have to do it again
Totally.
because it's one shot. And if something's off, you got to do it again.
I've
You
got,
can't just
I've
patch
got
it in like an
totally
audio file.
my, if I can sort of switch gears a little bit, same topic, but just sort of a shift in.
Okay, because I'm not done
You got
yet.
more? You got more?
Well, I got plenty more. Plenty more, but not mostly just
No, this is the same.
gushy things that I could toss out real quickly, just as a
Well, this
as
is
a
about
studio
no. This is
musician.
about the same. This is about the same thing about
Okay.
the intro. It's about the intro. It's just it's just sort of an overall thing I want to say before we get too deep into the specific, which we already have. Who's fooling who here? I just want to say I'm just looking at my notes about the intro thing, and I just want to say one thing about it, which is the overall sort of feel of the entire video was the real Indiana Jones feel of it. That it felt very
Exploratory.
very exploratory, very sort of epic in scale. Like this is a going through like the zoom in through the miniatures at the beginning and then up towards where Matt is standing, and then all of a sudden you're in those miniatures in the jungle, in the temple,
Like
in
gust
the
of wind on his hair.
oh, that was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
It looked like a still shot. Even he was just like,
Yeah.
oh.
I was like, you're a little that fan may have been a little unnecessary, but it was pretty cool. I don't
They
blame
tried
him.
it for the last shot and it didn't quite work. He just had like a little strand out here, and all the rest.
As
of
someone
the hair
who will
was fine.
probably never feel the wind in their hair again, I can say if I had the opportunity, I'd do it too. But did you notice one thing that I really enjoyed was the lanterns.
Oh yeah, they were the same ones on the set.
They're the same ones in the set. What a wonderful, the penis lanterns. What a wonderful little touch. I fucking loved it, man. I loved it. It was what a great, like it felt very thematic that they're all wandering through this place, trying to find somewhere, carrying these lanterns. And then when they arrive at the actual table, they set them up and then they play the game. There was this weird little, really enjoyable little arching whatever theme through it all that sort of tied it all together, where they're all explorers trying to find their way towards the table, and they're carrying the lanterns to the table and set them up and then play the game. I don't know.
Yeah, and
there was
Laura
just a
and
little
Ashley in the beginning. Oh fuck!
yeah. What is that?
In sync. That was great.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice until about 100 watches in that Laura also said, "Oh fuck."
Oh yeah. No, I noticed that right away. They're just like,
Yeah, and Ashley was easy because she was right next to the lantern. She was like,
Yep.
"Oh
Yep.
fuck!" And then
Yep.
and then after that, I saw Laura.
yeah.
All right,
No, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say was just sort of that the sort of the big picture sort of a thing.
All right,
Thematic stuff.
let me blast through some of these things.
Go for it.
It's
Go.
already been 30 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
All right, and but man, I just loved it so much. I was such
This floor is yours, man.
like when
Give
like when Sam and whomever did that thing for D&D Beyond in the last campaign, I also had the same reaction. I was like, holy fuck, 12, 15, 18 layered
That's his
vocals.
brother-in-law. That's his brother-in-law.
That was his brother-in-law that
That's
did that?
Q's brother.
That was
The
it was
Peter Habib, I think is,
that
I
the same
forget
guy?
same guy. Yep,
Same
it's the
guy
same
did
guy.
excellent. I'm glad that
Yeah,
that stayed in the family.
he gave him credit both times. He gave him credit the first time with the D&D Beyond one where
That's
he
how I
just layered and
recognize
layered and
that
layered.
goddamn
Yes.
name.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
because of that. Oh shit.
Yep.
Thank
Same
you
guy.
very much for
It's his
that.
brother-in-law.
Fucking hell. That makes sense. That
Mm-hmm.
props. I gotta look that motherfucker up.
Yeah, dude, he's
Um.
seriously talented.
All right. So yeah, I want to get through just gush through the rest of it without too much gushing. Being in the studio and doing I never do lead vocals, but I've always done backup vocals. The consonant matching is on point with this. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that. But when you're singing lines and there's a lot of S's and T's or K's or things that are like and you have somebody doing backups, and if they're slightly off from you, what you hear is a you know, when
Okay.
you finally record it, and it's something that you pay attention to as a backup vocalist. It's like I'm waiting for them to be like when they say plight. The first time they say plight, like
Mm-hmm.
critters join us for our
Joining the
plight,
plight.
whatever.
Join,
I heard a
yeah.
tiny little a tiny one.
Okay.
That's the only time I heard it. But all the rest of it, not aggressive, but very confident singing of the rest of
Mm-hmm.
everything, all the S's and the T's and everything, they were on point. They had somebody that had the attention to detail that I would be like, nope, we got to do that again. Your S's were off. This is important. This is going to be, I keep saying immunized, immortalized. This is going to be
Mm-hmm.
sat here on the internet for ages. We can't have this happen. You can
Okay.
do it in post, but they did an amazing job of that. Um, the first time they go through, it's Thursday night, and they start the vocals. Everybody's hitting
Mm-hmm.
their notes, and they're good. They're great. You know, they're good, and they're hitting their notes, and
Mm-hmm.
they're doing the backups. They're
Mm-hmm.
hitting the right notes, and then they go back. They calm down a little bit. You got Liam's part. You got Matthew's part, where Taliesin does his backups, and then Sam comes in right before they do it again. And the fucking second time they go through, it's Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew is so much more intense.
Mm.
You can, I think the reason that they put that little shot of him going is
Right.
because I think that's what he looked like in the studio. Because it's kind of irrelevant to the whole sequence of the video. But when you listen to his voice and you like close your eyes and listen to it, Matthew is hitting that shit so fucking hard. I think that's why they did that. That
Nice.
little shot of him, because it's so intense and everybody else is
Cool.
so much more intense the second time through. And also there is, it sounds like an instrument at first, but there's some female, and I'm assuming that it's Ashley, that hits this very high note just over the back, just like
Okay.
I don't know the notes, but it
Mm-hmm.
hits so hard. And I didn't realize the first few times that I watched through it that the second one hit harder because of those
Well,
fucking backups. It's
I'm gonna
intense.
probably throw that at. I'm gonna make an assumption that that's Sam because he
I think he does a lot of the high
loves
backups.
layering. Well, no. I meant the attention to detail and the one who's
Oh, okay.
looking at those things is it's likely it's Sam, because we know that he
With his
loves
extensive background, yeah.
with sure the a cappella background, but also the his attention, the fact that he loves layering stuff. Like
Yeah.
he when he did that D&D Beyond ad, he said he layered like 20 different voice tracks of himself
Yeah.
singing to get all of
He
those
said 12
different.
at least, which
I don't
probably means
remember how
about
many he
20.
said, but probably means close to 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows how many there actually was, but that I'm going to guess that just throwing it out there, it probably was Sam that has that
Yeah.
attention to
And it was
detail.
Matthew that asked him at
Likely.
that time. He's like, how many
Likely.
tracks was that? 8? And he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
12, maybe
12,
more.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
more.
And that showed me that Matthew fucking knows what's up too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we all know he's a singer, but we've never really heard it until this one. And this
Sure.
time, hearing him do those things, I was just, oh, I just love
Love
hearing
it.
that shit from a fucking studio, man. All right. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. It's not as Sam heavy as I thought it was gonna be, but I'm pretty sure Sam is doing a lot of the high backups in the back because he can,
Yeah.
and he's probably one of the very few that actually can, other than Ashley. But Ashley has a much
That
more strong voice. That if Ashley was doing it, you know it's Ashley.
that
Like,
fucking quip ad that they did at the ad read at the beginning where he did that disco that let's go with me. You God, damn, I was like, how does any normal human get that high? Oh,
Yeah. I like how he started with that one. Doing the
oh,
disco, whatever, just
mouth
like everybody's
disco
like,
with me.
ooh,
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was
a
oof.
good example of his
Oh, his
range
range.
not
Yeah.
working that well.
Oh
That was
man,
excellent.
that cracked me up.
All
As it
right.
was supposed to.
The female Oz didn't really have tears. Robbie, that one. Okay, yeah, and the last one I got here at the very end. I wish I could recall the words right off the bat, but the mic and the camera gives you ADD, so
Mm,
can't remember what it is. But right before the last thing where they zoom out just to the cast,
mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm.
it's get ready, right? It's like,
Yeah,
oh, get
yeah.
ready. And everybody who's doing that first part, oh, get ready. They're all using full support and full support into
Mm-hmm,
that microphone. And then right
mm-hmm,
off to the side there, very prominently, is Ashley, get ready. And that angelic voice of hers,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
oh, it just gives me that, oh, God. And then
I
one
love
thing I
that.
noticed, which may or may not be on purpose, is earlier when she does the high backups of the it goes from left to right, and then at the end, she does her backups right there on and they're on the right side when you listen to it in headphones. And then
Mm-hmm.
she shows up right there on the right side of the picture. And it's
Uh,
just like, there's my girl.
nice.
Fucking Christ.
I think I'm
I
gonna have to listen
love
to it
that
with the
intro
cans now.
so much, dude.
Yeah.
I love it so
I
much.
think when we're done with when we get finished up here, I'm gonna keep the cans on and I'm gonna give it a listen then, because normally I put these things away and then listen to it on my monitors. But I will. I think I'm gonna keep the cans on and give it a listen so I can hear what you're hearing.
Yeah. Fuck. I feel bad, man. I'm looking at this timer right now. That was a lot of time talking about the intro. I feel bad about that. I should.
Feel bad about what? What are you
But
talking?
man, it
What are
just
you
got me
talking about,
going so much. Like I've been listening
dude?
to it nonstop since Friday. So
I know. We texted a bit this weekend, and I was like, oh yeah, okay.
yeah.
We're in for it on Tuesday night for sure. This is definitely going to be a thing. So, dude, don't be sorry for anything. That's
I think
awesome.
like because I told you I was like, all right, I'm starting, and then like 4 minutes later, I said, I got tears in my eyes, dude.
Yep, yep.
I think that's like the
Mm-hmm.
timestamp between those two
Yeah,
messages.
and I was sitting there. I think I was in class at that point Friday night, and I'm like, "What is he? Oh God, what's going on? What's
Yeah.
happening? What am I? Okay, I'm in for something. I can't wait. I'm excited because I didn't know if you meant tears or like tears of joy, tears of sadness, tears of laughter, tears of
And who
because
knows? I'm not gonna tell you.
normally exactly normally when we're talking about Critical Role and you say I had tears, it's because Sam or somebody has done something
Right.
so stupid that you're holding your sides, you're laughing so hard, you're crying and sniffling and snorting and just yeah. Yeah, okay.
Ugh. I got
That's
through
your
it. I got
you
through
got
it.
through it all.
I could talk
Hey,
about it for a
muzzle.
lot longer, but I just had to get it through as quickly as I can. Looking at that timer, that's not very quick.
It's all
But
good,
anyway,
man.
I
It's all
got it
good.
out. I love it so
Don't worry
much.
about
And
it.
like after we're done here, I'm gonna go back to the balcony and just be like, "Oh God damn it, that's so
Mm-hmm.
fucking amazing!" With subtitles this time because that's fucking
Totally.
genius. And I'm gonna
Totally.
go see where they made that mistake with Liam and Matthew.
Yeah, I think you might be surprised. Maybe I don't remember the Jesus the specifics of it, but
The
I do.
specificity of it.
Yes, the
That's the
specificity
word
of
you're
it.
looking for.
There was some confusion though, and Liam had to clarify on Twitter what his actual role in it was.
Yeah,
There's a
well, they
bunch of
could have just asked
clarifications.
me, but they don't have my handle, so
This episode had a bunch of clarifications that had to be made on Twitter. One I
like
will talk
throughout the
about in a
episode, I mean.
moment.
Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
into it. Like, we don't need
Okay.
to roll again. It's your fucking turn.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna go straight to the fucking last point then. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to talk
Very
about in
last
the middle,
one at
but
the end of the episode.
I kind of want to.
All right, go for
Should,
it, man. We don't gotta
shouldn't
go
I?
chronological. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, really, there's not a ton that
No,
happened in between. So
I'm just gonna throw. I'm gonna go to the middle. I'm gonna go right. I've got a bunch of stuff to
do whatever
talk
you want to
about
do,
for the
man.
first half, but I've got a sort of another because I like doing this. It's one of my favorite things to do is look big picture. And The first half of this episode, so we're past the intro, we're into the actual meat now. The first half of all of this, um
Oh, that's right. There was
once
stuff after the intro.
there
Right, I
was stuff
remember
after the
now.
intro. Once they got inside the theater and they are backstage, once they got past that little weird little plot hook that Matt had for them to get into the to the backstage and sort of make their presence felt, known, who they don't have a name yet, but who they sort of, why they were there. They're looking for the missing
Yeah.
people.
Well, I think a big part of that was them putting FCG on the stage physically.
Yeah, that was an afterthought too, right? Because he was like, well, Sam even said that, he's like, well, maybe you guys put me up there first, so I'm the one that goes backstage first. And the
Right.
whole idea of him going in as a cleric and healing that fallen acrobat was kind of was very cool. I enjoyed that. No, but what I want to say is just like big picture here.
Okay.
The whole first half felt like, did you ever done one of those murder mysteries where you go over to a friend's place and you play a game and somebody at the table is the killer and you got to find out who it was, and the dinner time murder mystery party things?
I
You ever
missed
done
out
one of
on
those?
one. I missed out
Yeah,
on one.
we've done a
I
few
had a
here in
show that I had to
Taiwan.
play. Poor
We've
me.
done a few here in Taiwan, and I did a few back when I was in school, and they're a ton of fun with the right people. And that's what this felt like. Like they went. I wrote down all of the places they went to. It felt like it felt like they were playing Clue. They kept going to all these rooms looking for clues and people and
That's what they were doing.
places.
They were
and,
looking under mats. They were, like moving pictures aside. I mean,
it was such a cool thing. So I wrote down, this was their whole investigation. They started in Stu Vaughn's office. They went to the basement storage with Ocampo. Then they went to with those cats costumes. That cats costume Jellicle reference was fucking hilarious. They went to the green room / backstage. Then they went to Tefta's office, where she was flirting with all the male characters. And then the one little, I wrote a thing down here. Excuse me. We got a new drug. We've had the Kepper dust.
Yep, there you go.
That gets you high. I was like, well, this is fun. What's this sort of?
Yeah.
Drugs in D&D are always weird, so I'm always kind of curious about what they're all about. And then
we never heard of it before.
We never heard of it. It's a brand new one. Yeah, we've heard of this of Skeen. We've heard of the
Spice.
Spice, thank you. Spice from Dune. The Skeen.
Spice wasn't a drug.
It wasn't a drug.
He got scammed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It was fucking oregano or something.
It was right. It was something shitty.
Pepper.
Yeah. Then Beauregard got some though in campaign 2. She had a bunch. It was Skeen. It wasn't.
It was still Skeen.
Spice.
Yeah.
Right. Man.
Just maybe
anyway,
color or
then
something.
Yeah, totally. Then the party all splits up, and Dorian goes to the orchestra pit. Ashton and Laudna go to the restrooms. Orm goes to the rafters, then the roof. Split the party in a weird way. FCG and Fern go to the viewing box where they see the carving, and then Imogen goes to the alley where they all eventually meet up with. It was this series of events that felt like it was just really, really fun to watch.
String around my finger.
Okay, go.
Oh, now? Okay, I'll pull
Sure.
it off.
Yeah.
The reason Imogen went to the alley was because didn't she try to like open her mind to something or something like that?
No,
that's why she went to the place that actually had the thing.
She went to the place first, then opened her mind and got a sense of the static.
Is that what it was? Okay.
That's what it was. Yeah, I watched that
she has
very
that ability, and I thought that's what brought her there in the first place.
The what's it called? I hope I wrote this down. Open mind ability. I did. Her open mind ability, and she senses a mind, but it was just static. So
right.
She didn't know how to read that.
FCG did that too, didn't he?
Yes, he has he doesn't have open mind ability. He has read thoughts, which is a spell. I think it's a first level spell.
And those are similar, but there are some.
Imogen has as the read thoughts as well, but her open mind ability allows her to There's layers to it. I'm not very familiar with this aberrant mind sorcerer, so I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Right.
Which, hey, speaking of which, really, really fun moment when with they're still doing the whispers for Laudna's cantrip. Like,
Yeah, I'm so glad with this.
Kill a puppy.
Kill a puppy. There's no way that's ending anytime. This campaign just started. That shit's never gonna end unless she dies.
The best
for the second time.
But then they double. I love how they double down on it, and Liam starts doing the hamster dance for Imogen. Imogen does the sends a message. Oh,
right.
I forgot about that. And then he starts doing the fucking banjos at the end. Oh, I was killing myself. I was cracking up. I was laughing so fucking hard.
I totally forgot about that.
And Marisha's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. So I'm kind of hoping they don't do the banjo shit for Imogen, because it would be a little bit much, but they will keep doing the dark whispers
totally.
And
who knows what the fuck Sam or Ashley. Yeah. I'm putting Sam and Ashley on the top of the list of things that are fucked up that they're going to say.
Sam with like, kill a puppy. That was so fucking good. So I'm super excited to see what he's going to pull out next week, because he's going to troll the shit out of it for sure. Just brilliant. So like back to my point here about the whole investigation, the fact they were playing Clue or murder mystery theater thing, whatever they were doing. I loved watching that sort of classic D&D kind of, we're playing detectives now. We've got to find where it is. And then Imogen getting to the back of the alley and finding I got lucky and I remembered something about this monster. As soon as he described one of the aspects, I thought it was because Marisha yelled out Roper. Because of the tendrils, and that's what she thought that it was. But I remembered when it like puffed up its throat and then spit out that big gob of acid. I remembered something that I had read in another book somewhere, and I do know, and I looked it up, and I was right. It's a spitting mimic.
Look at you.
Yeah, I remember.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there was a one shot that I wanted to do a couple of years ago, and it was one of the monsters that was that they met early on in the adventure. They're hard, man. This one was buffed up a little bit too, because the spitting mimics usually are just chests or doors or something. This one was a whole fucking wall.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But it makes sense that it was a wall because it was hiding shit behind it.
Right,
the people that it took.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool use of a neat monster. Like, mimics are fun to use, and this was a very creative use of a mimic that I just think is clever, very clever.
The way that that it made sense in my mind that the alley was impeccably clean was not because the janitor that it ate before was because
and I thought that at first
everything and just discarding any waste behind it.
Yep.
And that's what it was, right?
Also,
but also behind the thing, it was after the fact, that was also impeccably clean, except for the remains.
Right. That's but I think there's another. Right? Yes, he did. And I think there's two factors there. I think you're right. I think the mimic was keeping the alley
like
clean,
it went all the way back, and it's like, you know what? This might be a good spot.
But I also think, and they got this information. They got this information a little bit later by Ocampo, I think, brought it up. That the street repair had happened a couple of weeks ago, and it was the Treshy House Masons Guild. I think there's another factor in there that's going to come into play, or it's just a dead end or a red herring. Who knows? But there could have been somebody could have been keeping this alley very, very clean on purpose to feed the mimic that they had planted there.
Right. I guess we don't know all the information yet.
We don't know all the information. So there could my immediate thought was, okay, the mimic's keeping it clean so he can lure people in, or whoever planted the mimic there. Because clearly somebody put a mimic there. A mimic just doesn't wander in there by itself.
Imogen was very astute on that one.
Yeah,
like, you don't just walk through the city.
I always think that whenever I watch, I'm like, Matt's not careless with these things. He never does stuff without reason. It's like, oh, random encounter. No, there's no such thing as a random encounter in Matt's world. All encounters are already planned.
And I'm with Ashton right now. It's like Ashton is like, dude, tables, chairs, a
Mm-hmm.
broom, and now a fucking wall. This
And
shit's
now a
connected,
wall.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Ashton's onto something, and
Mm-hmm.
Matthew's probably sitting there being like,
Yep.
We'll
Oh.
get there."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was my little point. Shall we roll again?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna roll. I let you
Let's
know me.
roll.
I love
I like to
rolling.
roll. I like to roll. We've only had one so far, so
We've
let's
only
do
had
it.
one roll. Yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
God
a
damn
little
it.
hard to beat. 16.
4.
However, I'm gonna give us both advantage
Oh. Okay.
because
I'll
got a
take
10.
advantage. Hey, I got a 15.
All right, it's your go.
Okay. Um,
Because I took the first 45 minutes, I wanted you to win.
that's all good. I get it. I get it. Okay. I'm going to throw to the combat then because I want at least two more. I want at least two more rolls here,
All
or
right.
at least one more roll.
Well, we've got easily two more things to talk about: the combat,
Oh, yeah,
and
sure.
then obvious thing at the end of
The
the
big
end of
the
the
big
episode.
one, the big elephant that's sitting in
Yeah.
the
Fucking
tiny little
Sean,
elephant,
God damn it! Shut the fuck
the
up.
tiny little elephant in the room.
Tiny ass elephant in the North Pole. Yeah.
Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to say about combat.
Okay.
You know me. I said this at the beginning. I love combat. I love Critical Role combat. I think it's entertaining and it's creative and it's amazing. And with these new characters that we don't know anything about, the homebrew characters we know very little about, it fascinates me what's going on. So really quick, I'm going to bust through all of these little points of the combat that I really enjoyed.
Hey, take your time, man.
No, they're actually going to be quick.
Okay.
Ashton instantly taking 25 points of damage. Remember what Matt said at the end of last episodes? I'm just going to have to come up with more ways to kill you.
Good catch. Good catch. I didn't catch that.
It was instantly with
That was
the
just an
surprise
acid
round,
spit, right?
No, he bit him. The mimic bit him and then did acid damage,
and the acid damage was there too. Gotcha.
11.
Gotcha.
I think it was 11 points of bite damage and 14 points of acid damage or something.
Right.
So 25 points of damage to Ashton
Which
right
is
off the hop.
nearly mortal for everybody except him.
That's half his hit points. As we said last week, he's got 50. What did I write down?
52.
50. 52 fucking hit points.
Yeah.
So that's like half
everybody
his,
else
that's
is
half his
like
points.
maybe 30.
30 in the low 30s, high 20s. Yeah.
There's no wizards, so nobody's super weak. Yeah. I mean,
So then there was.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna go through these fairly quick. Then Ashton's response to that was his rage. I don't think I really realized this before. His rages are all random. He rolls a dice to see what his rage is, and yeah, I didn't catch this either. So he rolled a dice, and his rage was decay. I don't know what that means.
I did
but
not
he
catch
said the
this.
word.
I've seen this twice now, and I didn't catch that.
He said the words decay, and that's not going to help at all. And Matt was like, yeah, no, probably not. And so there was a little conversation that they had there, a really quick little one. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I want to know
more. Anything can happen, as fucking Sam says.
The next one is Mr. getting involved in the fight for the first time since EXU, and very different Mr. The actual real use of the wildfire spirit, and Ashley not being really ready for it, she was ready, but being a little flustered. And I don't know how to do this. I don't know bonus action. Am I going to do that? And there was I love seeing that. I think it's so refreshing to watch players sort of learning their abilities on the fly. Figuring it out. Oh, this is what I do with an action. This is what I do with the bonus action. This is how I make this happen. My action is to summon wildfire spirit. My bonus action is to use the wildfire spirit to attack. Yeah. And it was just, and it took a couple of minutes for her to figure that out. And then it was like, oh yeah, okay, going forward, I hope you've definitely got this sorted out. And it's a wonderful thing to watch somebody really, start learning their new abilities of their character. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, and Matthew did a pretty decent job, at least as far as I'm concerned, kind of explaining
Mm-hmm.
Mister's involvement or lack thereof
Yes. Yes.
in different
Um,
episodes. He's like, yeah, you sometimes see this
it's
little monkey that's there, but he
yep.
rarely comes out and
There
he does this, and yeah,
and there's a fun thing that happens there too, where she's got this impression of Mister in combat as being another like with the way that it was run in EXU, way too overpowered and
yeah.
not
I'm
the
thinking
right way
about
to run
watching
that. And
EXU again with this new
yeah,
information
yeah. Well, you'll notice a massive discrepancy with their abilities right away.
and that fucking
Um,
ring of that telekinesis.
a
Good
Stonky's
lord,
ring, yeah. And when
Rula
the
Cool
like
took
when
a big leap on that one.
very, and I don't even think she should have it even nerfed the way it was. Like even Matt was like, having fifth level telekinesis at will is nonsense. Like
At level
that's yeah,
3, they didn't
level
get to level 4,
4.
did they?
Yeah, they did.
They
Yeah,
did.
they
They
got to.
leveled up, right?
Yes, they did. They are at level 4 now. Yeah. But then the next one, okay, this is the kicker for me. I want to know what the fuck is up with this. FCG,
That's never gonna go away.
nope, nope. FCG, so Laudna gets hit for 23 points of damage, which would have knocked her unconscious. But as soon as she does, FCG leans over and goes, I'm going to take half of that. And that saves her from going unconscious from making death saving throws. Something really weird happens here where Laudna cuts to half damage to 11 hit points, and FCG takes 7 of those hit points.
It was only level 7.
Only 7. His level plus his wisdom modifier, which is 3. So that gives him a total of 7 hit points, 7 temporary hit points. First off, number one, where the fuck is that extra 4 hit points going?
Right.
Because there is something very, very mechanically wrong there. And I know I feel like they're playtesting this. No, you missed it. It flew right over your head. So it was 23 points of damage. Laudna takes 11. Sam, FCG takes 7 temporary hit points. And I feel like they've made a mechanical mistake there, but I'm hoping we'll get clarification on it at some point. Yeah. I wrote down myself a little note. Maybe he should have taken the remainder, those extra 4 or 5, the extra 4 or 5 hit points. I'm not totally sure what they are. As personal damage to himself, 7 temporary hit points, and then the remainder carries over into actual damage. But then the real kicker is he pumps those 7 hit points into his bolt shot. So he shoots with his bolt, and those 7 temporary hit points go into that bolt. This is fascinating because I want to know what happens if he doesn't pump those 7 hit points into the bolt, 7 temporary hit points.
Interesting.
Where do they go?
Interesting.
Because those are damage hit points. And I would love to see something mechanically. I'm just throwing this out there that if he doesn't get rid of those hit points right away, they're doubled as
like
damage.
It's like a charge that you picked up, and if you don't get rid of it,
picking up, and if you don't get rid of it, it nukes you. But I don't think just for the regular damage. I think it should be for like either double damage or half as much damage again or something. Because to do mechanically, to be able to have somebody's damage, half it, and then take it upon yourself, that's crazy, man. Like there has got to be a drawback to doing that. Otherwise, he just does it with every time. Well, he can only do it once per round because it's his reaction.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't have to link with them, right?
No,
because he linked with Ashton at some point. Yeah, I got a little confused about that.
That was for Shield of Hope or Shield of whatever it's called to give him a +2 to his AC.
Completely confused about FCG's fucking abilities.
They've sort of
together very well.
There was something
that, things are getting allocated in different ways, and I'm just like,
yeah,
it's
slightly confusing.
At some point.
It's the path is what do they call clerics? They're whatever the way that the path that they take is called something. I'm blanking on it now, but he's an empathy cleric.
Damn it.
That's what Jester was a trickster cleric. Caduceus was
Grave.
a grave cleric. Pike was a light cleric, the classic one, and FCG is a empathy cleric. And so everything he does is empathy. It's all empathetic.
Yeah,
He takes things
I
on
feel the same
himself, and
thing.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So those are my notes for the combat that I have. That's about all.
Yeah,
That's
I got
all
a
I've got.
lot of
Oh,
questions about that FCG stuff.
it's
Yeah.
it's all it all. None of it makes any sense to me, and I'm dying for
We'll
clarification on what
figure
it
it out
all
at some
means.
point because I'm gonna
I'm
keep
sure we will.
watching, trying to keep paying
I'm not.
attention.
I'm not demanding. I'm anticipating. I really want to know what it
Yeah,
all means, what it's all
with
about.
homebrew and shit like that, it's like, well,
Yeah.
there's nowhere to find the answers. The answers are with Matthew and the character.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
the other people don't even know.
They don't even know. No, 100%. They don't even know, which is glorious. So they're just
Yeah.
watching this going, what in the fuck is up with that?
It's a lot of fun to watch them do the exact same thing. What the fuck is up with that? Maybe
Yep.
they'll play again. They'll be like, "Hey, you took those 7 hit points," which I don't think. I think that's kind of metagaming if you talk about hit points as a character.
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, it's a game, right? So you are still playing a tabletop RPG, and it is still just a. Um, you can joke about it, but like at any table I've ever played at, that's just common talk. You talk to each other like that all the time. At
Sure.
some tables don't allow it. I played at a couple of tables where you're not really allowed to talk about how many hit points you have or how many hit points you've got or stuff like that. Like you don't really talk about it very much because it is a little metagamey, but it's a tabletop RPG. Like this isn't really theater. This isn't really acting class. You're not
It's
really
not the
doing a production.
military. Take it
Or
easy.
that. Yeah, exactly. We're
Yeah.
playing a game here. Let's have fun. Let's not make this about, killing
Yeah.
each other
And
all the
also
time.
like Matthew, I mean it was the first time I heard it when Matthew said
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and wait, so how much of that was necrotic? Be like,
Mhm.
this much. Be like, the necrotic didn't do quite as much as you thought. It's like, okay, so that
Right.
was half.
Right.
Like immediately
Yep.
you know it's
Yep.
half. But you don't know
Mhm.
how many hit points they have, of course not.
Mhm.
But then
Mhm.
there's that it's not power word kill, I don't think. It's that's not the first
Disintegrate.
time I saw it. There was something like similar to when they put Trent Ickythong to
Mhm.
in the no, to put him to sleep. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know how many hit points he has, but I get to roll like
Oh,
15d6
right.
or
Yeah.
something like that."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So we
Yep.
took the chance and it worked.
And it worked. That's right.
Yeah. Like that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's like,
Hmm.
and I know that Matthew, he has said, I think it was perhaps in the Vecna fight, the first time they saw him in the first campaign, he was like, "How many hit points do you have?" And they were like,
Yeah.
"You don't know." And he's like,
Mhm.
"Vecna does." And they're like,
Yes.
"Fuck. All right. Well, I have this
Oh.
many." And he's like,
Yep.
"Disintegrate,"
Yep.
and fucking
Yep.
destroyed Vex,
Hmm. Hmm.
of which Vex came back. Vax.
Well,
I Vex
vast.
Vaxed.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm
Come
reading.
on. How can I do that after this long?
Yeah, I'm reading Kith and Kin. It's quite good.
Wait, what? You're reading it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. I gotta get on that internet.
Uh-huh. You do. Yeah, I bought the ebook. It's quite good. It's quite good.
Yeah? Well written?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, pretty good. It's got some weird ways of doing magic, which I like a lot. It's not D&D style magic. It's
Descriptive?
different.
Like,
Yeah, very, very.
well, that sounds pretty
Um,
cool.
Spells that I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. But I'm trying to piece it together. I'm like, well, I don't really care. It's fun.
They live in a
good.
magical world.
It's really well written. It's very well written.
We live in a magical world.
Anyway, that's mine. Do you want to do rollies again, or do you want to? You got a point?
My rebuttal
Oh yeah,
to all that, because I get to do a little counterpoint here, which I think brings us into what we both need to talk about.
I think so.
What the fuck is Travis doing?
That's
Is he
fun,
just
isn't it?
going through the past characters he's ever had? Like, when is Samsonite coming out? You
That
know,
was my first thought too.
this is what everybody's doing.
But
He's Chetney. When they started describing his character, the first time I listened to it, I was just
Mhm.
listening and I wasn't watching
Mhm.
anybody's thing. And once again, I'm watching on my phone,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
I'm watching. But I was walking and I was drunk this weekend listening to it. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what tool belt and the pointy shoes? And I heard the
Mm-hmm.
reaction of the pointy shoes,
Oh
and
fuck.
I was like, what are they piecing together that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not? And I was drunk, so I was piecing together a lot less. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
watched it today when I was at work marking some papers, I was like, oh, because he's describing his fucking North Pole goddamn elf little
Mm-hmm.
character from that one shot. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody's like, what a cunt. What are you
Who was
doing?
who was then reprised in the narrative telephone as well. Um, for clarification, Matt went on Twitter Friday morning, LA time, and said that no, this is not chutney. Chutney does not exist in Exandria.
Well, no, it's
This is a
Chetney.
Yeah, this is a completely different character. He said that it's not a completely different character, but it's not chutney because Santa Claus is not canon in
It's not
Exandria.
canon, yeah, for sure.
So he Matt said this is a character that Travis wanted to give a fair run at as an actual legit character. Now,
Okay.
if does that mean that this is Travis's primary character? I don't care. I genuinely
That's
don't
the best
care.
answer. I really
Yeah.
don't care, but I also
No.
don't think so.
I hope not, and I hope so. I'm 100% 50-50 on this one. If it is, I'm going to be incredibly happy because I think it's fucking genius.
Yeah.
If it isn't, I'm applauding it all the way because I hope Samsonite is next. That'll be fucking amazing. And then he's what he's doing is he's killing all of his fucking one-shot characters, and it's
Anything's possible in
goddamn
campaign
genius. I love it. I have a sneaky suspicion that this is his permanent character.
You
I
have a
really
sneaking
do.
suspicion, and you've been
I do.
pretty correct for most of the
Yeah.
things so
Well,
far.
I
You got
I,
a good track record. Come on, man.
yeah, I got some. I have
You
some.
got a good head about this shit. You know,
Maybe sure. Yeah, sure.
I'm just a fan who watches. You actually
I
understand the shit.
I feel like this fits
Sometimes it
in for a
feels
lot
like-
of reason. There is no rogue in the party. This is a strength-based rogue. If you looked at his stats, he's got a 17 strength and a 14 dexterity.
I completely
doesn't
forgot
happen
what
with
chutney
rogues.
was for
Right.
the one shot.
Well, no.
I've seen it twice,
Chutney.
but
This is not chutney. You gotta get that out of your head. It's not chutney. This is chetney.
I thought you were
So
talking about
chutney-
chutney. Sorry.
No. I'm talking about chetney. Chetney
Okay.
Pocopi.
Well, the thing is with Chetney, I don't know what he is. All I know is what
They-
happened in the episode.
They show his stats on the screen at the end of the episode. So
In my
they show his
pocket.
character.
I was riding a bike home.
They show his character sheet the same way they show everybody's in the episode. They show his with the art, and he's got a 17 strength and a 14 dex and a
gnome with 17 strength.
dude. It's weird. It's very weird. It's a strength based rogue. It's not unheard of. It's just very uncommon. He's a what was his intelligence? His intelligence is quite high. I think it's 16 or something, 17 or something like that as well. But his stats they're weird. He's got an AC of 18, which doesn't make any sense at all with a dex level 4. Says on the thing it says level 4 rogue. There's something going on. Something is funky,
He's
which I
buffed
dig.
or something.
Maybe he also has 38 hit points, which at level 4 with a constitution of +1 and a rogue
What do you roll each level?
hit dice D8 for a rogue,
A D8.
unless he's multi-class with fighter or something else.
But that would have said that on the thing, which I didn't see.
Nope, you'd think so. You'd think it would. Doesn't mean they have to. They don't have to do anything.
That's the thing. Like I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, like they didn't show that little graphic in that corner until after we kind of had a pretty good idea of what the fuck they were.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
and
in
they
this
didn't do
case,
that.
there was no indication that he was some kind of a rogue. He didn't say like, "Hey, I'm a rogue and I'm strength based."
No,
like
no.
But like now that you know this information, it's
Yes.
like that seems a little bit
Well,
for
Travis
us
did
as viewers,
describe.
meta.
Travis described him as being he looks unnaturally strong, like he's got these giant big
He
muscles,
did say
and
that.
he right. And so there is a little bit of an indication he's got woodworking tools, and in the graphic he's holding a fucking chisel.
I didn't see it.
Oh, dude, you should see this picture of him. He's fucking genius.
Well, I'm kind of
He's
glad I
holding,
didn't, because
yeah,
like I don't know who the fuck
yeah,
this thing is,
yeah. It's
person
weird.
thing. I don't know.
I again, I don't care. If it is his permanent character, I'm all on board. If it's his temporary character for 3 episodes, I'm all on board. The best line of the night was at the very, very end of the episode when Sam says, Travis is like a drummer for Spinal Tap.
Yep.
It's just, yep, yep. Just go, Travis, just go through all your characters. Bertram Bell, Chutney, whatever the fuck his name was, the Macaroni Samsonite. I want to see them all. I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be absolutely spectacular.
One thing that we didn't mention last time, I don't think, was I'm a little nervous about their name choice. Did I mention that?
The what?
Their
party
group
name
choice.
Oh, did you see Sam's gas can for this episode? You didn't because you didn't watch it.
No,
So
it's
Sam's
in my pocket. Yeah,
right. Sam's gas can this week had all the it was I wrote it down because I paused the episode and I wrote it all down.
Nice.
On the gas can, it just said rejected, underlined. So the first one, Troubles. Second one, Dorian's tax write-offs. Third one, Acapella. Fourth one, 5 living beings. Next one robot, one question mark, question mark, question mark. Next one, the bell ends. Next one, bells, bells, bells. Next one, what the fuck is up with them?
The last one is the only one that has an inkling of merit.
I think it was all just Sam being a troll as usual. This was FCG's gas can again.
As he does,
great.
Yeah.
As he
I
does.
I really hope that they don't push it too much. Like Mighty Nine happened organically, even though Liam kind of just said it, but it worked, and everybody was like, "Yeah, that
makes
works."
sense." Yeah, it does. It totally made sense.
We weren't there for the live episodes of Vox Machina. They had that name beforehand, but
They
I know
did.
that movie was coming out that has a similar name. Something Machina. I forgot what it's called. I saw it once. Robots and AI and shit.
Oh, Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
The ghost in the machine.
Ex Machina. Deus Ex. I don't remember.
God damn it!
I think it was Ex.
It
Machina?
means ghost in the. I think it's just Ex Machina. No, it's.
I think that's what it was. It was a decent movie.
Yeah, I liked it. That was what's her name, right? What is that? I thought it was DOS Ex Machina.
I don't remember.
I think you're right. I think it is just Ex Machina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Decent
movie. A couple of my friends were like, "It's fucking amazing," and
Ex Machina.
Something I didn't. I just thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm out of points because I spent 45
I
minutes.
got like a dozen more, but they're not anything special. They're all just sort of like, oh, this happened and this FCG's line, we broke the fourth wall. That cracked me up.
Yeah, actually, hold on. Since we both have that point, why was that so hilarious to them? I understand what breaking the fourth wall means, but I think that when I was watching it, I was watching Sam. I think him and I had the same reaction to everybody losing their shit. I'm like, well, because why are you what? That's just a small joke.
It's a theater. They're acting in a theater, and the mimic was a wall, so they broke the fourth wall. It was like you're not. I don't know. I found it hilarious too. Yeah, I found it really funny. That made me laugh a lot.
And they lost their shit.
Yeah,
I'm like.
I feel like there was a lot of they're all theater. They love the theater as people, as humans, and it was like you never break the fourth wall. You never talk, directly to the audience.
Before Deadpool, it just never seemed to happen. Or sorry, before Shakespeare, it never seemed to happen.
Right,
but
right.
It's just like when he said it, he's sitting there just like, Like the first time he made that, the favorite smells, and he said like, there
Uh,
was
the,
apple pie, pussy,
apple pie,
and he just sat
oatmeal,
there and just
pussy.
scanned the people.
Hmm.
I feel like he was doing
Hmm.
the same thing here, and he was like, but not because he made a great joke, because he's like, why the fuck are these people losing their shit?
Matt's reaction to the "we broke the fourth wall" was hilarious. He just sat there. He did the
He
greatest
just
little face wipe. He just was like, "Oh God." Ooh. I love those. I got a couple more. The Fern, when she was taking the mimic's teeth, and she was like, "I'm going to take as many teeth as I can." And then the guard's like, "Hey, what are you doing? This is a crime scene." And she's like, "I know, I made it. This is a crime scene I made." Like that's
so
just
good.
just beautiful.
And then also,
And then sorry, and
wait,
then
right at the end
Imogen.
of that one though, when she took the teeth, and
Mhm.
like it's usually like some kind of a thing between Matt and the player, and then sometimes Matt brings it down to some kind of a role or something like
Mhm.
that, and then
Mhm.
Fern
Mhm.
just said, "I'm leaving."
Yeah.
That was the end of it, and Matthew just let it go. She just
That
made a
was so
choice.
good.
I'm
I'm
leaving.
leaving. With a great response. So good. For Ashley as Fern is magic.
Yeah,
It's
it's
simply
wonderful.
simply this is her best character yet.
It's an
It's so good.
unexpected
Oh,
bonus, because like
oh,
she's been pretty bad at
just
the improv in the last two
mhm, mhm.
campaigns. In
There
fact,
is
there's not a whole
something
lot of difference between
she
Pike
is
and fucking
yeah.
Yasha as far as role play.
There was a lot of blind spot going on at that point though. It's hard.
So,
It's easy to
come
forgive
on,
her.
come on.
Um, oh dude, she made a nut on that. Like she set herself up for life with that TV show. She never has to worry about
Oh, you're
anything
blaming
ever
her for
again
that
because
shitty
of that.
joke? Okay, I see.
um, so my take on it is that she's doing exactly the same thing that Laura did with Jester, letting it come naturally. Laura admitted several times that she did not know what she was doing with Jester. It just came from somewhere deep and weird inside of her. And I think that's exactly what Ashley is doing with Fern, that she's just letting it come from this weird, chaotic place that she didn't really know existed inside of her. And she's just letting this anarchy just sort of like a petulant little child who
Yeah.
is angelic and wonderful and not quite all there and a very precocious child.
Yeah. I love that word precocious, by the way. I
Yeah.
love the spelling, I
Yeah.
love the sound of it, and the definition.
Mm-hmm.
In the previous
my
episode,
my
when
brother,
she's
my mom used to call my younger brother precocious all the time.
that's probably how
It
you
was
learned
a
about it,
it
yeah.
was 100%.
Again at that time? No.
Oh, I
I'm
wasn't paying attention.
in the past episode, um I think she was talking to Shadana when she was like, Shadana, do you have a straw? And she's like,
Oh
well, I
yeah.
have like the stirring stick that is hollow. And she's like, oh, thank you. And just pockets it. And Matthew sits there and he's just like,
Oh, it's so good. It's
I
so
love you so
good.
much, Fern. Not Ashley,
Mhm,
Fern.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, there's just jazz is chaos, man. It's just gorgeous.
Something's
Gorgeous.
happening there with Ashley in this character, and it's fucking,
I'm
it's
telling you,
magical.
I
Yeah.
I fully believe that it's just coming from somewhere deep in her, inside of her,
I
that
mean, from all
she
the Tox Machina and all that
yeah.
shit, she's got a side to her that's chaotic.
Hmm.
But she's, it's
The
Ashley. She's
cast,
chaotic good, but she could be
yep.
fucking chaotic
The
according to
cast
stories.
constantly says they constantly say they're like, yeah, there's nobody more. You don't realize it, but nobody in here is more metal than Ashley Johnson. They're like, yeah, that chick's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
And
Pool Hall
I
Ashley. I
think,
mean, we've all
yeah.
heard of it, but we're not sure what
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
is. I
I
just love the
don't have
picture
much
though.
more to say. I'm pretty. Oh, one other quick little thing.
Get it.
Uh, right after Fern was done taking all the teeth, and I'm leaving. Um, Imogen, Imogen saw those two little half orbs on the sides of the mimic, and
Right.
she pocketed one of them. That's going to be interesting. That's a curious little plot device there that I like.
I think that might be one of the little ties to the furniture that they saw in the
Yep,
first episode.
I have a feeling so. I think you're right. Yeah, it'll be
Because I mean, Ashton's
because
not
they
letting it go. So
no, and I think Matt has been quite surprised that the rest of them have been letting it go.
yeah,
So
especially
I
in the
think
first
there's
episode. Like,
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
Aren't you
You guys,
worried about the fucking
yeah,
furniture and the
a
blue
bunch of
flash
shit
of
just
light?
Beauty and the Beast just happened in front of your eyes, and you're just going in and drink some beer after it's done. Come on
Yeah.
now, what's happening here?
And that's
What is
also
up?
Ashton. Ashton's like,
Yeah,
let's go drink, but also
yeah.
this fucking
Also,
furniture. he's he's driving both
mhm,
sides that are going against each
yeah,
other, but also
yeah,
he's the one, just
yeah.
like with the what the fuck is up with that? He
Right.
wants everybody's stories, but on himself, nope, I'm
Yeah,
out.
no, no, no. I don't know. I don't know about that. Very, very clever. Well, I'm
Got any
done.
others?
Nope. I've got maybe one or two more that are minor that don't really mean anything. So
Yeah,
hey,
I
let's
spent all my
wrap
time
this
on
up.
this. All the other ones are they're basically reactionary type of points.
Same, same, same.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this up. I got a tired little pupper in the corner over there.
Oh yeah, we can see her
Look at her.
back there. Oh man, she's been there the whole time, hasn't she? I've
Yeah,
been
she
looking at
has
this
been.
screen, not that one. So
Again, I told you I brought her to the vet for the first time, so that she got quadruple vaccinated. So I think
she might be a little pooped.
she's breathing, so it's okay.
She gonna be all right for a little walkie poo?
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna take her out for a little walk.
Yeah, I've never seen a dog not excited for a walkie poo.
As soon as I said that word, the words, your ears perked up and her eyes opened up.
That little
Yeah.
tail. Oh, there she goes.
Hey girl. Hey.
What a sack of adorable.
Yeah,
Oh
she's a
man.
sweetheart.
All
All
right,
right, buddy.
ready to wrap up then?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. You have a
All
good
right,
week.
cool. I'm gonna go. Do you think? I don't think I can link the intro, right? Because we talked about it. I don't. That's.
Mm,
Do you think that's copyright protected or something?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess no, but I could be wrong.
I'm not gonna do it,
Yeah.
but like something I want to think about. Is like until next week when we're super famous.
Okay.
Then I'll have to, think about lawyers and shit like that. But for the
Right,
time being,
right.
I'll just, if you want to find it, just search it. Also, as always, check down there. We got the links. We got the Gmail and we got
Right
the
over-
Discord.
right over here.
Yeah, wherever he says
Over-
it is, that's
over
wrong.
here.
It's wherever I say
There.
it is. It's down here. More. Wait.
Is it up,
wait,
up
I
in the
always-
corners?
There we go. Down. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So if you think we're
Like,
full of
follow,
shit, or you want to get in
subscribe.
touch. Yeah.
Mhm.
Get in touch and we'll bring you
And
up
if
next
you're-
episode if you got good points.
If you're in Taiwan and you watch Critical Role and you're a critter like us, please get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
We want to know more.
If you got shitty things to say,
Yeah.
we probably won't mention you, but
If you got shitty things to say about us, we will definitely mention you.
totally, and we'll probably agree with you.
Yeah, probably. You might.
That's my guess.
You might
anyway.
even get a shout out. You never know.
All right. Well, I got to pee, and I got a couple of things I got to
Word.
do before bed. So let's
Yeah.
call it, eh?
All right, bud. Have yourself a good week.
Yeah, you do. We'll see you next week. Yeah.
And yeah, see you next week.
All right. Sounds good. Peace.
Peace.